Primal Chaos. Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Now, me and Hailstorm go way back. All the way back to, I think I saw the video for I Get Off, which is just sensational. I love the fact that they're kind of that sort of mid to early 90s kind of bombastic post-hair metal kind of aesthetic rock, if that makes sense. It kind of reminds me, the easiest comparison to make is like Crucial Taunt, you know, from Wayne's World. That's the vibe I always got from these guys initially. Now, don't get me wrong, they're way more complex than that. They have way more sort of personal sort of energy and all that sort of stuff. But for initially, I was like, dude, this is like, it's like I'm watching Wayne's World or something. And that always struck me as really interesting. I do like a good rock chick, and you would have to go pretty far to find one that's as consistently excellent as Lzzy Hale in that genre of just pure, unadulterated, testosterone-fueled female rock, if that makes any sense. All that said, this is new Hailstorm. It's called Wicked Ways. I'm curious to see what direction they've taken this in. Is this going to be sort of venturing further into what they do? Is it going to be some throwaway stuff they just wanted to get out there because she's got a bit of heat on her right now? I really don't know, but I'm super curious, and I love watching these guys go from strength to strength. So let's jump in. Hailstorm Wicked Ways official video. Here we go.
Sir, she's here again.
Uh-oh.
She wishes to confess.
She, referring to obviously someone who's there fairly regularly.
Are you here to repent of your ways?
Oh, wow.
Don't call me an angel.
Oh!
I'll always be sinful. It don't make me evil. But I got my wicked ways.
Come on! Here we go. If there was ever a powerhouse rock voice, man, jeez.
I've been the liar, I've been the cheat.
Oh, keep it up, tempo. Yeah, yeah.
I've been the thief. You curse my name, but I believe we all play the sinner and the saint and the in-between. I need my devils, I let them rage. I keep my eyes wide open when I pray. I've been the villain to misbehave. I like trouble coming in 100 different ways, and heaven knows that I'll never change.
Okay. Halftime pre-chorus.
Don't call me an angel.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I'll always be sinful.
All back to the track.
Don't make me evil. But I got my wicked ways. I'll never be faithful. I'll always be tempted. It don't make me evil. I hate evil. But I got my wicked ways.
All right. Wow. Okay. I'm just going to fix something real quick. Yeah, sorry, I had my headphones, the mic in my headphones up way too loud. It's driving me crazy. This is insane. This is really cool. Okay, so, I mean, look, anytime you get sort of pop rock aesthetic, it's going to be a certain amount of formulaic nature to the structure of it. And I love that they're subverting your expectations here. I hear a lot of bands that sort of do that cookie cutter thing where they know what's expected and they think they're doing a good job by hitting those marks. And that's kind of the first step towards mediocrity, or at least just coming up with something that's hard to bring up. You know, you've got to embellish a lot of stuff just to make it interesting to hear the whole song. In this case, everything that I kind of half predicted as it was coming up was a little bit subverted, and I really like that. So essentially you've got that sting, that "Don't call me an angel" or whatever that opening line is. Actually, was that a cappella? Let me hear that again. I'm trying to remember. Would you like to confess again? Yada, yada, yada.
Don't call me an angel.
Yeah, right. So it comes in with that punch in the face, kick and guitar and bass all at once.
Don't make me evil.
So this is like a a call, like a prelude to the chorus that's coming. And that's a cool riff. And so the impetus for most bands now would be to drop back to a halftime feel for the verse, right? But they don't. They keep that kick drum pulse in there to keep your heart going, right? And that's great because the lyrics in the verse are a little bit verbose. She's got a lot of syllables to fit in there, which also keeps the tempo up. And if you try to do that with like a halftime shuffle kind of groove, which is what most people would do, it would seem a bit top heavy. There'd be too much going on in the vocals, not enough below. Because obviously with most verses, you got to drop back your instrumentation so that you haven't got this just wall of sound through the entire song, unless you're Lorna Shore, who are great at that sort of stuff. But for this sort of pop rock metal thing, you kind of have to drop back in the verses so that when that chorus hits, it punches hard. Much like that initial note was. Boom, there it goes. Right at the start. So, but I love that they kept that intensity up there. Through this verse. It's just a little bit of a zig when most would zag. Cool tom hits. And then we're doubling down with the snare, keep that intensity up. And then, so that they can leave room for a chorus, this is when they pop into that halftime we were expecting earlier, right? Here it is, halftime shuffle, but it's only short, just enough so that you get out of that sort of pounding sort of speed so you can come up to a chorus that's big again. And it's kind of like 2 bars or something. Then boom, back in again. And this is a good walking pace for a chorus. It just grooves really nice. It's right on the money as far as BPM goes as well. So good. Back up again. This time we're starting with that snare. Yeah. Second half to alter it up. Now it's a funky groove. Still got that tempo, but it's funkier, you know? Good memorable sing-along chorus as well. Oh, that's great. Come on. Come on. Nice breakdown.
Don't call me angel, I'll always be sinful. It don't make me evil, but I got my wicked ways.
That vocal compression, man. Come on.
But I got my wicked ways. So don't call me angel, I'll always be sinful. It don't make me evil, I hate evil, but I got my wicked ways. But I got my wicked ways. And I'm never gonna change.
Good backings too.
It don't make me evil, I hate evil, but I got my wicked ways.
On the root chord. Nice resolve. Man, that was intense. I love that she just doesn't give you any time. Like there's no, like there's periods where she's not singing, but there's no downtime between parts. Like so, I don't know exactly where I'll find it. Right there, right? You know, there's a little bit of a gap there where she could just leave it, but she just throws another one. And earlier on, there was another one where it's like, yeah, where there was a little bit of space as well. Because you know, there's times where you just want to keep that intensity up and just keep punishing and punishing and punishing until it's time for you not to sing anymore with something like this. That's an intense song. I love it. So one of the magical things about these guys is they've been around long enough that they have all the tools at their disposal to come up with new and fresh concepts and ideas and push the limits of their aggression and stuff without ever stepping over the line. They're still Hailstorm, they're still fitting within their genre, but they're able to sort of progress the idea of Hailstorm further along without sort of, I guess, a lot of bands sort of peter out after a while and they dial it back, you know? These guys just keep on upping the ante, I guess is the best way to look at it. Lizzie's voice is absolutely unique in that she can just really push the limits and seems to be able to have just such a great note quality high with that scream and that aggression, but, you know, seemingly without causing any damage because she seems to have had a very long career doing this, right? This isn't new for her. She's been doing this the whole time. So whether it's just a timbre thing with her, whether it's just something that's just naturally how she creates sound, I don't know. I mean, one thing we're learning about modern study of vocalists and vocology is that there's a lot we don't know. How come some people can get away with doing this for their entire career and other people, if they did this for 2 or 3 days, would damage their voice irreparably? You know, like it's just the way things are. I think a lot of it has to do with the way that she compresses her sound when she just belts. And she can sort of squeeze it, and there's a little bit of extra distortion and back pressure and stuff that just sort of allows that beautiful breakup. That's it's like a saturated sort of sound that you get that sounds equivalent to like a guitar chord. Bam! Row! You know? And she can seem to do that at will while still maintaining great pitch, a great tonal volume. Like she just has a core in her voice. She doesn't sound shrill. And that's really impressive, you know, and it's I mean, it's not unique. There's plenty of female singers out there with aggressive voices, but she just seems to have a real handle on herself and she understands her voice and she leverages that and just pushes the boundaries, which is amazing to see. The song is just super competently written and, you know, like arranged and stuff like that, where there's no breathing room, but it never feels cluttered. Everything sort of matches what your expectations would be, but it's in a different place. Like you're zigging and zagging and stuff like that. Or they'll throw in some little pop sparkle thing that just sort of like recaptures your attention. The breakdown was really significantly solid and interesting, and it was just what's the word I'm looking for? It was intricate enough. Without being over the top and it's like, hey, we're showing off now. It was really just, it served the song is the best compliment I can give it, in a creative and unusual way. It wasn't just the defaulting back to sort of nonsense. It was creative and bombastic while still sort of bringing the song back down so that then they could come back into I think, what did they do? Like a stripped back chorus or something? Yeah, there you go. See, that's a staple sort of choice. But they just seem to be able to crank it to 11 and just make it something that should be a pretty stock standard choice become super interesting again. These guys are magicians, man. And I mean, you know what? You don't get like this. These guys always struck me as being a super hardworking band, touring all the time, writing all the time, always sticking within their niche to the point where they can really explore all of the space that they're in, and come up with new and creative ideas, never seem boring or bland, and still somehow being accessible and maintaining a little bit of a pop aesthetic where people can engage with them that may not necessarily, you know, you can have fans that are Hailstorm fans that fall more on the side of, I like pop music, you know, I can listen to Pink, who I think is pretty hardcore, you know, but also Hailstorm. And then you can also have metalheads who appreciate the raw edginess of this band, you know. So that they're pretty diverse in what audience they can garner, I guess. And that's always impressive as well. It's really they're kind of like that band that doesn't get the credit they deserve for how brilliant they really are, even though they're well known. You know what I mean? They should be on everybody's radar, but they're just sort of like, you know, they could definitely be higher profile than they are, even though they're doing really well. Man, that was a really cool adventure. I'm glad I took it. I was actually finished for the day. I did a couple of videos and I'm like, I'm done. And then I noticed this pop up and I'm like, oh, it was released like 2 days ago or today or earlier today or something. Really cool. Anyway, that's about all I got. If you feel like I brightened your day at all, feel free to support the channel. Just buy me a coffee if you want. There's a link in the description. Or just hit the thanks button that's below the video. It allows you to support creators from within YouTube, which is really cool as well. Like, share, follow, subscribe. If you think there's anyone who might enjoy this video, send it to them. And you know what? If there's any other Hailstorm stuff, because like, again, I've taken these guys a little bit piecemeal. I know a little bit about certain albums and some covers that they did, but I'm not a super fan. I haven't gone super deep on them. So if there's something you want to see, or maybe a Hailstorm adjacent band, is there somebody who you feel is equally as impressive as Lizzie? Let me know. You know, if it's anyone I haven't done, do a quick search and see if I've done it before. I've done some Arch Enemy and things like that. So, you know, maybe take a look. But anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking around and I'll catch you on the next one. Stay primal. Hey guys, this video is made possible by Enchroma. 1 in 6 guys and 1 in 200 women are colorblind, and if that happens to be you, there's something you can do about it. Click the link in the description, it'll take you to Enchroma's website where you can get a free eye test, and while you're there, maybe pick up some corrective lenses. They've got styles to suit everybody and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you got really nothing to lose. And while you're there, use the code CHAOS in checkout to get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you.